We must have a conversation about wooing women. It isn't necessary to buy them clothing if you want to ask them out on a date, and even then. 2 women at once? I think you should work your way up to that. Harry spluttered denials while Wanda and Jean turned red in embarrassment as they entered the house. Harry's denials were cut off when another familiar voice was heard. But first, you can tell me why you both are home so early when you're supposed to be at school. Harry and Jean cringed at the admonishment in Doctor Strange's tone as he stood at the top of the stairs. Despite his tone, it seemed he already knew why if the exasperated look on his face was any indication. Harry put down the bags and tried to defend their actions. Well, we met Wanda here and saved her from some guy that obviously was never taught that no means no and that there is such a thing as pedophilia. Afterwards, she told us she was alone and we couldn't just leave her, so I told her we'd buy her some clothes and go eat it well. Harry looked at the 10 bags of clothing he had been carrying. It got a little out of hand. Strange walked down the stairs with an amused look. Let that be a lesson for you, Harry. Never say the words, "no limit," around women when talking about shopping. Strange chuckled as Jean gave an indignant huff at his words. His eyes then landed on Wanda, who was fidgeting slightly under his gaze. He gave her a warm smile that put her at ease. Well then, Wanda. My son is obviously keeping something out for dramatic purposes, but considering his luck, you must have some sort of ability that convinced him to bring you to me. Wanda meekly nodded before shyly speaking. Why yes. My name is Wanda Maximoff. While I was being attacked, I sent the man flying to the opposite wall when I hit him with a red light. Hari says it felt like magic when I used it and that you could help me learn. Strange nodded in understanding. Very well then. Wong stepped forward at his call. Please lead Ms. Maximoff to the guest room next to the room Ms. Gray uses when she visits. I'll be up there shortly. Wong nodded and took the 8 bags of clothing that belonged to Wanda as he led her up the stairs. Wanda sent Harry a worried look, but he just winked at her in reassurance, causing her to blush. Once Wanda and Wong left, Strange turned to the 2 teenagers with disappointed look on his face. Now then, can you explain to me just how you found Ms. Maximoff when you were supposed to be in school? Jean and Harry paled as they realized that the fact that they had left the school during lunch was revealed. Only juniors and up are allowed to leave the school, neither of which they were. Strange just smiled at their deer in the headlights look. Well, I'll just leave your punishment to your 2 newest instructors. At his declaration, the sound of 2 people walking down the stairs was heard and the teens looked to see who it was. There was a man and a woman standing at the foot of the stairs. One was an old woman that looked around 70 with white hair that reached just below her shoulder and blue eyes while wearing a red dress that looked like it came from 300 years ago. She also had a purple shawl around her shoulders and was carrying a black cat in her arms. The cat was creepy since it was staring at them without blinking. The man looked to be in his 30s at most but had an ageless quality to him, much like Harry's father. He had black hair and an uneasy aura surrounding him, which was made worse by his red eyes and the katana hanging horizontally on his back. He looked to be of Japanese descent but had his hair cut short rather than placed in a ponytail like most Japanese swordsmen. It wasn't until he smirked and Harry caught sight of a fang that Harry realized that he was vampire, and by the fact that he seemed completely at ease around them, it showed that he was old enough to have control of his thirst. He was wearing a black jumpsuit made of some unidentifiable material and red armor in select places like his elbows, knees and chest. Doctor Strange smiled at the look on their faces before clearing his throat. Now, these are Agatha Harkness, the world's foremost magical psychic, and Reza Koda, a vampire that has chosen to rise above his brethren and not feed on humans. Reza has been around for centuries and is a master of many forms of combat and weapons and has earned my trust. He will be your combat instructor while Agatha will teach you both various ways to use your mental gifts. I will leave your punishment to them. With that, Strange walked up the stairs trying to hide a grin while their instructors sized the children up. Agatha was the first to speak. Well, since you 2 think school is beneath you, we'll start with you reading various books about ethics as well as the consequences of various wars. Reza then cut in, his voice lacking any accent and sounding rich in culture, which was expected since he had lived for centuries. Of course, you'll be reading it while doing 50 laps around the training room. Harry and Jean's eyes almost rolled out of their sockets. The training room was the basement level and was magically expanded, so it was around 80 acres big on the inside while taking no more space than expected on the outside. 50 laps around it while reading whatever book Agatha gave them would take forever. Both teens thought the same thing at the same time. Harry was sure it was all over. Everything hurt as if he had been dipped in acid and then flayed alive. He couldn't get a single muscle to move without almost passing unconscious from the pain. He suddenly saw a bright light and felt as if his soul was leaving his body. "Oh, get up, brats, it's not that bad," said an amused Reza Kodo, who was currently standing over them and chuckling at their exaggeration. Harry and Jean had just finished their 50 laps and were currently dramatically ing about their pain as they laid on the floor. Agatha had left a while ago with a threat of making them do it from the beginning if they didn't finish, leaving them with Reza. At first, Harry had been ecstatic to be taught by a vampire since he considered them kind of cool and wondered if he would teach him everything he knew. Now, however, he considered Reza the incarnation of evil itself. Harry and Jean just ed in pain as if the very thought of moving caused them pain. Reza smirked and rolled his eyes at their dramatics. "Tell you what, you get up and put those books away and I'll train you in your weapon of choice." Just like that, Jean and Harry got
Selambagayan, ha? Talagang ba yan? Talagang ba yan, ha? Oh. Oh. schnell. يلا مكة. Come on. Kuamala na. Bash. Siya lang tambayan ng pa. Ah. Oh. Siya lang bagay. Oh. Kakalabayan, no? Oh? Kamuana Yaka. Kilamakoy now. What? Yunumarana, Usnarabagayo, Barisnaraba. Uzanana Maishana. Haji Mala. Isin na bala.
Dalam makanan, bayang